Are you on a forklift?
Yeah, yeah.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a
Hey.
tutti.
All right, Juventini, welcome back to the AJC. I really, really wish it was under better circumstances and that it was going to be a victory Monday. However, that is not how the match yesterday unfolded. And of course, just to tie into what a completely abysmal month of April it was, we have more chaos in the news and everything going on in the Allegri out movement, and Sule maybe adding a little bit more heat to that movement. We got a lot to talk about, let's put it that way. I'm happy Ant's here with me. Ant, how you doing this morning, man? Hey, you're muted. Amateur hour here.
Oh no.
You're good now.
Am I?
Yeah.
Were you lying?
No, you were muted.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, anyways, we're good. You can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, we are now turning the page on April. We're heading into May. April was an absolute nightmare. Can we just say it was a nightmare? But we got 15 points back. The sun is shining. We woke up today, right? We didn't pass away in our sleep.
Yeah, we did. The
Everything's
sun's
good.
not shining here, though. It's rainy and miserable.
Well,
so I'm
live
not
somewhere better then.
not fully out of April now because of this. So just going to get some of the housekeeping out of the way, everybody. Okay, if you're tuning on into this podcast on your audio outlets, head over to YouTube. That's where you get all the extra footage and content and whatnot. All right, guys that are on YouTube here, Super Chat is enabled to show support for the channel. We have our merchandise tied to the YouTube store. You could join up now and support us through memberships, 3 different tiers. You have to do that on a desktop, though. All right, and outside of that, now we're going to get into saying what's up to the awesome AJC Army. So let's get in here and say Apex coming in here. Thank God April is over. Horrible month sporting-wise for the club. Still hoping we can win Europa and finish the campaign off with some silverware. Absolutely. That's still, available to us, and I hope that they can get that done and go through that. It is going to be very difficult, though, right now with what I'm seeing from this team. I think if you're Sevilla waiting up on that matchup, you're probably licking your chops right now, to be honest. What do you think, Anth? Like, if you're Sevilla right now, you're probably pretty pumped seeing this kind of chaos.
Man, we'll get into the game. I liked what I saw yesterday. Minus the goals. But, it was a good bounce. We'll get into it. I don't know. Sevilla still is, I don't know.
I might surprise people with a little bit of something that I have to say in terms of Max Allegri today. So it's a little bit different, but we'll see. And I do have a theory in general about Juventus as a club in this whole period that I'm going to drop today on this show as well. So people will tell you Kostic is good because of 8 assists. I'm going to tell you a little something that I noticed that's completely different between Illing, who is being listed as the only bright spot there. Milik's PK, yeah, we're going to talk about that. But everybody, you guys, the chat is absolutely on fire already. So we'll get to everything. And huge thank you going out to our guy, RB Comps. Much love for all that you do. Fino alla fine, always. No matter what, we ain't going anywhere. All right, so
I got nothing else to do.
Let's get to this. So we're gonna kick things off going through the highlights. There's a lot in the news too. I'll just give you some of these headlines. Okay, so obviously we know that Calvo's words are what fired up Juventini before this game even started, and that's about a commitment to Allegri. Just saying that we're not even halfway through this 4-year project, and this got everybody fired up. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to take a look at that. Chiesa, Adrian Del Monte coming out with a situation playing up to this disgruntled players feeling right now at Juventus, and saying that through sources close to Chiesa they are even saying there is the beginning of a slight disconnect between club and player, and frustrations are there. Make with that what you will. However, we are going to take a look at that. And then to add fuel to this whole fire, Sule has apparently on Instagram gone and liked one of replies or whatnot that said Allegri out and whatnot. This is not
Fat
good.
thumb.
Sometimes
That was a
these can
fat thumb.
be faked, though. So, still waiting to see on that. However,
Yep.
it's not stuff that you like to hear, okay? And then, of course, Zidane rumors that he is definitely going to be coaching next year, and it's between PSG and us or whatnot. So we're going to take a look at all that as well. We're going to start things off with the game and the highlights. So, okay,
Let's
so
do it.
let's fire up on that. As far as the starting lineup went, we had... we were going to get Danilo, Bremer, Sandro at the back, and that changed, and ended up getting Gatti, Danilo, Sandro, okay, Szczesny in goal, of course, Quadrado, Fagioli, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic, and then obviously Di Maria sitting out on this. We have news on Di Maria today. We're going to talk about that quick as well. Ended up being Chiesa and Milik. With Di Maria, what got dropped today is essentially that he had an ankle knock that he picked up. He was
Injury.
not going to start this game anyways, so he made himself not available and just said he's not even going to travel. So this already has a reaction from some fans and whatnot. I want to get Ant's reaction to hearing that from Di Maria, because essentially at the bottom of the headline, of course, it reads, he didn't grit his teeth for this one. So, Ant, your take on this one and how you feel about it.
Yeah, I never really thought about it till you said it right now. I just it was one of those pieces of news I just passed on by. He's not going to play anyways. Why not just stay home and rehab? Right? I don't have a big problem with it. If he was faking it, that's a different story. But if he had a genuine knock that he's not going to play anyways, we have essentially a fully fit squad other than Keane being out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Bologna, I guess they're on a good streak, but did we need Di Maria for that game? No. Dusan was back. Everybody's back. When a player has an injury and we have a game midweek, if we didn't have a game midweek, I'd have an issue with it. But since
Yeah.
we have a game midweek, I don't have an issue with him staying back. No
Yeah.
problem.
I'm kind of the same. For me, we knew he was going to have to be a player we would be preserving anyways, like throughout the year and whatnot. So moments like this don't really surprise me. And even if he's going to stay and we're going to try and keep him around for another year or whatnot, he's going to have to be preserved. Paul Pogba is going to be in that category once he can get even more minutes in there. We're going to talk about Paul Pogba in this one too, and if he should have been a guy that was utilized coming in maybe at some point in this game. I do want to stop everything right now to give a huge congrats out here to Josh, expecting a son to be born today. All right, so all the best to you. Thank you for still joining us here. All right, Forza Juve, all the best there, and yeah, hopefully a very, very smooth delivery there too.
A bit of advice that was given to me just before I became a father was, when you do become a parent, welcome to worry, because you will not stop worrying from the day that kid's born to the day you leave this earth. It's true. You worry every day about every little thing. But hey, it's a good time. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. There you go. There you go. And the chat showing
But
some love to
congratulations.
Josh. So we love that. Love that. Anything positive we can bring to the show? Love it. Love it. Now, went through the lineups, talked about Chiesa, Milik, whatnot. Let's see what goes down. Got to get the result, though, ultimately, okay? That's all that really come down to. Now we're going to go through highlights and whatnot. We'll hit this first half up. 10 minutes in. 10 minutes in. Sandro, far too soft. Far too soft. Orsolini making him look like a child. Shoving him out of the way, and Sandro trying to sell it rather than just manning up. And then Danilo, very, very poor there. And I'll be honest, it did not look like much. I was still waiting for the definitive angle that
Did he get
showed
him?
the exact contact, but nonetheless, and just to add to the absolute insanity of how ridiculous Serie A is, the monitor there at the stadium for the ref to review things wasn't working and down. So he literally had to rely on the crew in the VAR station to make the calls for him.
Okay.
This is a shit show.
Okay. The foul on Sandro, that gets called on defenders all the time when a ball gets cleared out. I'm just saying, could that have been reviewed? The ref could have looked at that, but the monitor wasn't working. The foul on Danilo, I didn't get a good angle of where he actually got him. If he got a piece of him, it's a penalty shot. Not denying that. But the monitor was broken. Bologna is the home of where the goddamn idea of the university was invented. 1088 was the first university. They've had, 1,200 years to figure out smart people.
Yeah.
And they can't figure out how to get a goddamn working monitor in a stadium. What are we doing here? Okay, whatever about Sandro, whatever about Danilo. We can't. People yell at me because they're like, "Oh, you're kind of hard on them," but them nap in the afternoon. There's no Staples or Best Buy or whatever Circuit City around there. I know Circuit City doesn't exist. To go buy a fucking TV, a monitor, and some new cabling. What are we doing here?
I don't know, brother. I don't know.
Clown
okay,
show.
but the bottom line,
Thank you,
I was
Albert.
watching all those angles. I don't know that there's a definitive view showing the exact contact Danilo made. Regardless,
And the ref
it's
was
a
right
very
there.
boneheaded challenge from Danilo
It
to
is.
just flash a
Super
leg
challenge.
out there. Get your body moving. It's very, very lazy, and you're standing in the area when you do it. Sandro, stop looking for crap like that and just man up, for the love of God. A super chat. Huge thank you, Oliver. Okay, no hope for this club. Only hope is if they sell. Okay. I'm not there yet.
You want to know
Okay.
something? I'm going to use those €2. I'm going to donate those to Bologna for a new fucking monitor. That's what I'm going to do.
So it's a PK. He gets a PK.
Sure.
He steps up, and Orsolini buries it. Okay, so 1-0.
Perfectly
and
taken.
This is just like exactly, you're not even surprised. You're not even surprised at this point. And hey, based on my parlay, I said both teams are going to score. Said I don't see a clean sheet coming in
There's
this
a
one.
pretty sweet parlay you had there.
So I was like, I don't see a clean sheet, just based on our run of form. Bologna, credit to them. Malta's got them playing very, very well going into this one. So is what it is. Now, from there on, let's talk about Juve. So 26 minute. My God. So Skorupski makes an incredible first stop on Fagioli's shot on this one. Coming off the right side. Nice cut pass back in, right into his path. He hits it well. Big save. He beats his defender to the rebound. And I have no words for not hammering that friggin' ball in. Whether you're on your off foot, which he then became on his left, has no bearing on it. You have to hammer that thing in with conviction.
Toe, shin,
and for God's
knee,
sakes,
whatever.
it seemed so nonchalant, and Skorupski actually made a kick save on that, and that's just a wild one for me. Okay. We continue on.
Hang on. Two things on that one. Two things on the second one. The ball was in his feet, and he didn't know if he had a defender on his ass. So he hit it too quickly. He really could have taken another step to get it out of his feet to lift it, because he just kicked it along the ground. And so, not really in his defense, but he rushed it. That follow-up one. He rushed it too much.
He put it on the carpet. About the only thing a keeper could really do in that spot is come out and challenge you low on the cart. Like, hammer the thing up, even waist height. Like, just hammered into the friggin' goal.
Yeah,
and
he just rushed it.
He just fucking was way too comfortable. Way too comfortable and nonchalant about it. 29th minute. Milik gets fouled. I laughed at this one because if his boot isn't on the friggin' line, it's probably not even getting a PK call on. And he originally didn't call a PK. And I'm like, his boot is literally your evidence for where that foul took place. And if you're on the line like that, you're considered
In the
in
box.
that area.
Mhm.
So we get a PK. Oh my God, this PK. Everybody knows how Berto feels about stutter step PKs. This wasn't even a stutter step. It was
I'm
a
right there with you, buddy.
ballet-esque skip. Okay. I
Looked
don't know
pretty.
what the proper name is for this ballet term, but I don't know what
Ballet-esque.
happened to Milik. Okay. Because that was absolutely pathetic. What happened to the good old days of just picking a spot and hitting the damn thing? Okay, and we're even if a keeper guesses right, he's gonna struggle to get to that. Just do that. Just do that. What is it? Peter Pan, yeah. It's best Peter Pan impersonation on this PK. Pitiful.
Small.
So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just
with you, Berto. Just hit the damn thing. Pick a corner. I guess are they
so
national teammates? They're
they know
friends,
each
anyways.
other
But
well through that and whatnot, and usually that becomes overthinking. And you know what? If that's the case, don't
hit
step
it
up and take the damn thing. Don't step up and take the damn thing if you're going to second
exactly.
guess your. I've never seen Milik take one with one of those steps or hops, whatever, and then all of a sudden if you're overthinking it that much to where you change your approach,
Mm-hmm.
don't even take it. Don't even take it. Now, so Skorupski stops it, and my God, where we go, we continue it. Now, this one is crazy to me, and Chiesa does so well on the left
Mm-hmm.
side. He cuts this one in for Locatelli. You gotta fire this ball,
You
man.
gotta hit it.
You
Gotta hit the ball.
gotta hit this. I love Locatelli, and I saw the tweets calling him trash after this and whatnot. Like, I'm nowhere near is this guy trash, but you've got to hit this ball, man. You've got to hit this ball because if you're gonna lay it off, you have to be damn sure out of the spot you're at and the high percentage that you're at. If you're laying it off, you have to be so damn confident and know like 1,000% your teammates on the end of that about to put this thing in the back of goal. And Milik was way too far ahead. I think he was trying to
Mm-hmm.
put it to Milik. Someone was saying he's going across to I'm like, no, he's trying to put it to Milik, and Milik was way too deep. It overrun it.
Mm-hmm.
And then to add to this one, Quadrado decides it's a good moment to have a hit short side from
Yep.
that angle to make it completely a mess. Okay, so it goes from ugly to absolutely horrible with Quad's
Correct.
decision on the backside of it. This, I'm sorry, everybody, has nothing to do with Max Allegri. Any of these
Yeah.
moments we're talking now.
Yeah. The only thing I could see with Locatelli is that he saw the defender coming across to shut him down, and he cut it back. But still, legs in the way, deflection. You got to hit that ball in net.
My
It's
my
got to go.
thing is, and when I watch that, that is a guy, and he's not the only one on this team that in high percentage scenarios doesn't opt for the shot because they're on their weak foot. So Locatelli, if he goes to hit that, has to hit it with his left foot. And more often than not, I've seen right across the line of our lineup, guys not shooting, even though they should. And at that level, I mean, for Christ's sake, we're teaching young kids to get comfortable with both of your feet and be ready to
Mm-hmm.
shoot with both of your feet when you're in those high percentage scenarios. To see professionals have zero confidence in their off foot is wild to me. Take the damn shot. I don't care if you're on your left foot. Take the damn shot. There's
100% agree.
no
There's
excuses
no
there.
excuse.
No
There aren't any
excuses.
excuses. No.
We finish off the end of the first half with Tech having to make a big stop on Barrow that goes through our defenders, and he got down low very, very well, very, very quickly, or
Mm-hmm.
that could have been game right there and ended it for sure. We go into halftime, and honestly, my feeling was you just got to keep pushing. You got to
Keep
keep
going.
pushing. You got to find the goals, but there are goals there for us to be had. We just got to man up and take them. All right?
Yeah. Tech
Abysmal
actually made
finishing.
Tech actually made two big stops at the end of the half, but um, again, I fully agree with you. After the goal, I liked Juventus' reaction after the goal. Didn't sit back, didn't seem flustered. We went after, we created chances. There After the game we had midweek, it was nice to see that bounce back and push and create chances. But man, it just wasn't going in. And we looked like a team that scored no more than one goal in the past 9 games.
Yeah. Completely impotent in front of goal. Completely. Yeah. Second half. Second half. I told everybody we were going to fire through this because I don't want to relive this too much. So, 59th minute. Illing Jr., okay? So, he comes in and Kostic, I'm going to talk a bit as we get into the game, the difference between these two and the first thing that I noticed, okay? But Illing Jr. comes in 59th minute. To nobody's surprise, his build-up helped in that first lead up to the goal.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, you see good interchange. The second Illing comes in with Chiesa, okay? And that willingness to play direct, okay? Play direct. One of the things I've said about Kostic that I notice when he plays is how come he is so restricted and tied to that left flank. And when you play Chiesa with him, it's awkward. It's awkward as hell, even when Chiesa plays as a second forward, because Chiesa likes to come from the left side. He likes to play off that left side and start there and then get worked in. But Kostic will never abandon that freaking flank, even if you have to, because Chiesa's there. He would rather just stand back. And then all of a sudden, you're not even helping the offensive phase, which is what I saw yesterday. And it's wild. Get involved. So what Illing started to do was he started moving inside. He started going into this. Okay, you're going to come out here. I'm going to go inside. Cool. Get involved in the friggin' game. Create space. Take defenders away. That's what you're supposed to do. Illing Jr. did a great job of that, and it's no surprise he was involved in the build-up between he and Chiesa. Ball fell, and then Milik hammered that thing home wonderfully. 1-1. Beautiful. Go out, get the job done. However, we made a few changes, but the second Chiesa came off, we lost a lot in attack. I don't know why. And we made some changes in the midfield as well. Paredes came on for Luca. We had Miretti coming in, and Fagioli was out and whatnot, and we lost a lot. I'm not so sure, based on what I was seeing with Locatelli dropping far back and everybody else pushing as we were chasing that goal. I was thinking to myself, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Ant, and everybody in live chat, why not pull in Paul Pogba and use him in that role? Because at the point, Bologna wasn't pushing us too hard, okay?
Just countering.
And let him distribute that ball, because Locatelli did have some good distributions there when he was dropping back and everybody was pushing forward. Quadrado made a great run. Locatelli delivered the ball over the top. He ran onto it, obviously, end product. Nobody was there to put it in, but
not a soul.
Why not? Why not take that shot? Go for broke, right? Get these guys out there. Nonetheless, we don't do it, but what was your thoughts?
Let's go one at a time here. So the Kostic Illing Jr. swap, well, when Sule came in as well, the whole team just lifted after that. The energy lifted when those two young guys came in. We got the goal relatively quickly after it. And then I don't know if the Sule miss was before or after Chiesa went out. I can't really remember. But
it was after. I'll talk about that, yeah.
Okay, so once Chiesa came out for Miretti, I was running the main yesterday, and someone was asking. We're having a short conversation about it. Should we have taken Chiesa off? And at the time, we both sort of agreed that we're now losing something with Chiesa out. As the game went on, I thought Miretti got into the game. I thought he was filling in for what Chiesa was doing. I thought he played good, but you do lose something, that those penetrating runs when Chiesa does come out. So I think I sort of disagree. I thought Miretti grew into the game. But again, you're missing something when Chiesa comes out. Going back to
Yeah.
your comment about Pogba, who would you have taken out? So for to bring Pogba in instead of Paredes, you would have brought Pogba in. Is what you're saying?
I would have taken that stab and just left him back to distribute and orchestrate and start launching balls, because if that's what we were doing and we were trying to go over the top on Bologna
Mm-hmm.
to Quadrado like Locatelli was trying to do, put him in there and Pogba will at least push. You gotta push at some point. You've got to get
Mm-hmm.
guys that can distribute, that have attacking prowess, that and he can at least launch a shot even if he pushes up high enough and whatnot. But like I don't know. For me, it was like just get him out there and use him, even if it's the last whatever bit of the match. Like just use him.
Yeah.
Try.
And Luca wasn't on a yellow. Rabiot was on a yellow.
But let
Yeah.
me be clear. That
Mm-hmm.
move, like not putting Pogba in there, is by no means a be all end all for me. It's just something I
Correct.
was thinking like, why not? Like let's try and use him. Let's try and use him, whatnot. But
Right.
we're gonna talk about a couple more chances that came, because honestly, after some of these changes, Bologna did get some good ones. So Barrow
They
makes a
did.
good cross in at 73rd minute. Tech just gets enough of this one to throw it off from Xerxes, banging it home at the back
Right.
post. Everybody thought he just missed it on the replay. Tech gets just fingertips on this thing to put it
Mm-hmm.
through his legs, and that was a big move there. Illing Jr., a great job in the center of the area. So he leaves his flank, he cuts in, he makes himself an option as they work from the right side. He's at the center of the area. He gets the ball, he turns his man beautifully.
Oh, right. Forgot about
Off
that one.
foot shot from the top of the center. And unfortunately, hey, like I said earlier, I appreciate you taking the attempt with your off foot, but yeah, the execution was unfortunately not there. Was unable to hit target, trouble Skorupski whatsoever. He sailed this thing up, almost might have left the stadium. 83rd minute, Gatti makes an absolute mess of this ball at his feet. They get behind us. Luckily, on Tech's challenge, the chip just curls away from goal. That could have killed us as well. It just got way
Gatti
too loose. Way too
Gatti looked
loose.
like Bambi trying to chase a squirrel between his legs, trying to get to that ball.
Man, what a mess that was.
Now
Eight,
that striker, what was his name? Ash Ribber, whatever his name is. He felt contact. Gatti touched him from behind, but he didn't go down. If he went down there, they might have got another PK. But he stayed
yeah.
on his feet. He tried to stop to get Gatti to run into him, but he's like, "Oh, I probably got a better attempt at a shot here."
Mm. 85th minute, Juve pushing forward, trying to find something. Vlahovic is in the game at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Cross, back post from Illing, a good cross. Vlahovic goes up, does battle. It falls to Sule, coming in on his strong foot. What a shank. Okay, what
You can
a
see what he was
shank.
doing though. He wanted to just he had that whole side and he just wanted to side volley instep it into that open side. Just side volley lace it with your laces. Just hit it over there. Don't place it. Just hit it. Just just hit it. That's all you need with your laces. Just hit it. Am I on repeat here? Yeah. Sorry.
Why? Why are you trying to side foot this ball that high off the ground?
Side
Lace
foot
the
instep.
fucking thing so that they have a hell of a time trying to wait that extra. We're talking a fraction of a second for it to just go low enough so that you
A little
can
bit
lace
more.
that thing and hit it with some goddamn conviction. You try to go in there and try to get cute. I'm going to side foot it over. No, you're not. Hammer the fucking thing into the goal.
Now,
And if you can
I'm
bounce it off the ground, you've achieved perfection. Jump up and scissor kick that fucking thing down if you have to get
like
over it. Like,
DeBala used to hit those into the ground to make them bounce up. That was his thing. Deadly. Now, we're not going to bury Sule and say, "What does
no,
this kid do?" You know what I
no.
mean? We're not going to do that.
But
But
it would be, it's an unbelievable miss. As Animesh puts it here, it's an unbelievable miss. It really, really is unacceptable. I agree. Like, come on now. This is ridiculous. The amount of scenarios we've talked about here, even if you bury two of these, this game is done. Okay?
Over.
Two out of all these great chances just need to find goal, and that's not asking a lot. When you look at the percentages that these chances were, that is just not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. This match ends in a draw, and my God, get me the fuck out of April, because that was a horror show. Okay? This game right here, I've said it so many times. There are games where we get the approach completely wrong, and it starts there.
Like
Then there are
midweek.
games like this where your execution is, you can't execute your way out of a paper bag, and you get what we have yesterday. The unfortunate thing is that it has been a combination of the both throughout the season, which is why nobody is free and clear of blame. Coach and players, because we have seen both sides of it so much this season, where it's either one thing or the other. It's either your approach does not suit this game and this opponent, or it's, hey, you got everything right. We're creating chances at will, and we just are completely impotent in front of goal.
So I don't remember a game where we've created that many goal, like clear cut chances.
High percentage
I
opportunities,
don't
man.
remember a goal. I don't remember a game. Yeah, it's now just so everybody knows. In our group chat, Lou was going off yesterday. It was a thing of beauty. Lou was mad, but one thing he said was, "When was the last time we came back from being down a goal and won a game?" I said, "Well, first of all, the sample size is low because we've only won 4 games when our opponent has scored. So what's that record at now, Berto? 4 wins, 8 draws, and 14 losses when the other team scores.
Yeah.
When the other team goes up 1-0, we won a total of 1 game. And that was a 4-2 win against Torino on February 28th. That's it. When the other team goes up 1-0, that's it. Yeah, Matt got it here.
Yeah.
We've won 1 game this year.
That
Wild.
is wild. It's wild. It's. I got no words for this type of finishing in front of goal. I really, really don't.
Didn't we
And
sell Orsolini? Yeah.
factor in a PK. Oh yeah, that's another transfer they're looking at, of course, as they will all. I'm really left at that with this game. Okay, like nothing
Oh,
much
man.
more to say about this particular game, but April as a whole. Okay, when you look at the
What was
record,
it?
you've got the record right, Anth.
Yeah, hang on. I got to flip one more page. Yeah, 2 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses. 2, 3, 4.
Measuring stick month for the team.
Yep.
It was a measuring stick month for the team, and this is one of the reasons why, again, it may be hard for people that want Allegri to continue and don't feel he hasn't earned more time, okay? Because there are still a large portion of the fan base that actually do feel that way. For me,
Mm-hmm.
in measuring stick moments for 2 years now, we have missed
Just
missed
missed
it.
it.
Like 6 wins in all your measuring stick matches in a measuring stick month in your second year, okay, in a
With a
crucial
healthy
month,
squad.
to fall this hard through it with just disgusting numbers, and the style of how we're dropping points, and we have to talk about it playing into it, the disgruntled player reports and things like that. Like, it all adds up to it. It's very, very hard for me to find any type of confidence that this is what I want to stick with and continue with, when in
Mm-hmm.
measuring stick moments we completely fail
5 goals
over
in
and
April.
over.
5.
5. Okay, great. But it's difficult. This was a measuring stick
Mhm.
month, and it's hard to take a lot out of this.
Yeah, it's again, we like to take everybody's opinion in here because it's your opinion. I used to dump on people's opinion until this guy over here said you can't do that. And you're right. Everybody has different opinions on things. Now, for me, I was all about let's give Allegri time. Not really Allegri in or out, but supporting the manager. I thought he did a great job. I think we both agree he's done a great job after the 15 points were taken, and then handling the team through that, handling the club, being the voice of the club through all that. At some point, you, you just have to say it's just not working. Especially
Yeah,
like 6 months in, 8 months in, you can sort of see we are almost 2 years into this, and even the staunchest of manager supporters, me, is starting to the wheels are starting to fall off the wagon.
yeah.
I don't want to dump on the. I know you and I had conversations. We didn't really haven't had a conversation like this about it, but the whole Allegri out with the black and the red wording that was
Yeah.
going around on Twitter. I know that you didn't like that. For me, that was I appreciate when the fans are telling the club. That's just for me what they call a protest for the fans of the clubs. And I know it's not a proper protest, but the club needs to see this. Like the fans are not happy. Was there a better way they could have done it? Possibly, but the fans are not happy with what's going on, and you cannot tell me that the management. I know Calvo said that yesterday, that we're halfway into a 4-year plan. There is no way he's serious. There is no way this management isn't looking at this and saying, "Yeah, we could
I
do another 2 years of this." There's no way.
my my thing with that Allegri out thing is I'd never have an issue with fans because we spend so much on merchandise. And I said one of
Mm-hmm.
the things with these games, like that second leg semifinal Coppa Italia with Inter, I know so many people that were there spending hard-earned money to go there. Like, I feel for fans. I really, really
Back
do.
to back games they went to.
Yeah, I feel for fans. Believe me, I feel for them. However, you know, if you look at the grand scheme of things, and there's a couple reasons I feel strongly about not doing that at that moment in time. At this
No, I
moment in
think we're going
time,
to agree. We know Allegri isn't going to leave now, but as a statement to say at the end of the season.
at the end of the season, I have no problem. And this was my
Mhm.
thing. It's the timing. It's the
Okay.
timing for a number of reasons. Number one, number one, just because ride it out. Ride it out at this point in time. Don't give these players
Mm.
something else to fall back on. Don't give them that excuse that, yeah, you know what, all these fans now are coming in and it's like, oh, this coach, whatever. Like, don't add more chaos to a season that's filled with chaos
Interesting.
that the media has brought on to Juve at every turn. They love seeing us attack our own. They love it. They love it. That's helping
Hmm.
them win.
Okay.
At come season's end, you guys can stand out on mountaintops, fire out those tweets left, right, and center,
Didn't you?
whatever, ask for change, do whatever the hell you want. Allegri out. Right now, I don't like it. It gives the players way too easy a way out for a team that I think needs a lot of work in the mentality aspect. So I don't like it for those two main reasons. Okay, because everybody knows where I stand, and I do believe you've got to look at a change. I left this one up from Boston
Oh,
Dog talking
okay.
about we miss our chance because we play like there's a stick up our ass. We rarely create opportunities. The players freeze when they finally have a chance on goal. Other teams know they will get another. I don't know why. I don't know why this team can't convert high percentage opportunities at a normal rate. Okay, I don't know if it is because we don't play like this normally, so none of these guys have confidence in front of it, or the fact that nobody's got the balls to just take the bull by the horns and be like, I want to be that guy. And they keep trying to get cute and cute and cute and move this thing around. At some point, I don't know, spend the next week of training just potting in goals. All your players, midfielders, attackers, whatever. You know, Lou and I got into it on the group chat talking about it's a mentality. He says the mentality is the killer instinct. I say, no, it's not the mentality these guys can't bear. It's execution. Like he was at one point trying to argue that it's still Allegri's fault or whatnot. I can't buy into that when I'm watching these guys. As a player, I would be embarrassed by that finishing, and I would in no way, shape, or form going to a post-match presser and say, yeah, you know what? I can't convert that because of my coach. Bullshit. It's nonsense. That's nonsense.
The one thing,
And I love Lou. It's not an attack on Lou, but it's just
yeah,
killer instinct. Whatnot? No,
he does
like
what he
you
can.
have players that need to execute, and this killer instinct or whatever. No, you have players that are better finishers than others and whatnot. But it doesn't take away the fact that when you're in those moments, you have to do better than what these guys are doing. Some aren't even taking the opportunity. Locatelli in that form, like not even taking it.
Yeah, when you think about execution, let's get real about something here. In terms of defense, we only gave up 7 goals in April. And we came out with, if at the end of April, like if we just kind of flash from March to May, and we said, okay, you have, whether there were 2 clean sheets, you only gave up 7 goals in 9 games, no more than 1 goal a game. How many wins? I don't know, 4 or 5. 2 wins. You did not give up more than 1. So defensively, this team is fine. Between the pipes, we're fine. It's just something just shuts down when we cross half and we need to put the ball in the back of the net. It's just whether you want to put that mentality or coach.
And if
or
we want to be honest,
it's
some of the goddamn decisions as well in moment, like, and Quadrado is one of the worst for decisions. Now this guy's got a good record for clutch moments and stuff like that, but my God, you could create a 1-year-long highlight reel of bad decisions from Juan Cuadrado in offensive phases, moments, and whatever. It's crazy. But these are things that we got to deal with because, again, there's no other option there. There's no other option there. So I left this up from Dell's saying that, Noel, we need to make our feeling heard now. The message isn't necessarily get him out right this second. It's a message to the board about how a lot of us feel. I get it. But another reason, okay, for me is there is no management team, no sporting director. You make this, it's like, I kind of understand that, and nothing's going to get done now, but it's creating
you think it's
this
falling on deaf ears?
It's creating this out for a mentally weak team already when there's still an objective there that has to be hit. Top 4 is not a guarantee, and you're still in the semifinal of a Europa League. It's the chaos this creates. And lo and behold, today you have Sule liking an Allegri out message.
Allegedly.
I don't like what it starts. I don't like how it gives players an out. And again, this is right after a match where these players fell flat on their face with nothing to do with the coach's actions. I don't like that easy out. I don't like giving them this to fall back mentally. It's too easy for them to switch off. That's basically just how I feel.
Yeah, I don't. Jeez,
it's tough, man. It's tough, and I get where fans are coming from. Believe me, I want nothing but change too. I want to see Juve thrive, but for Christ's sake, I just watched Tuchel go to Bayern, and he is failing. He's doing terrible. Okay, they're thinking already about firing him. Some wanted Tuchel come at Juve. If Juve would have spent the money earlier this season, say Tuchel comes in with a very, very less talented team, and he fell flat on his face, we would have been in even worse scenario. It's not a guarantee that all changes, Nothing in life is a guarantee, let alone sports.
Yeah, but
My thing is
I don't know.
this.
We need a
I'm
sporting director.
the only guarantee, the only 100% thing I could tell everybody here today is I am sure as shit happy I'm not the one making the next decision for Juve, because it's such a delicate situation that we are in, because
Hmm.
they essentially can't afford to get it wrong. Now we're going to get into Calvo's thoughts and everything, because
Yep.
obviously essentially before the game started, he really fired Juventini up by saying that we are not even halfway through the project, essentially implying that we are committed to Max for the 4-year term and everything. We're going to tie this in with the Chiesa rumor from Adrian Del Monte saying that sources close to him, and this plays into the players disgruntled. Obviously, that ties into Sule liking this post and whatnot,
Hmm.
but Calvo essentially saying we're only halfway through this project, but then you're getting rumors, disgruntled players, and then Chiesa's name gets in the mix. Naturally, that is going to spark crazy, crazy feelings from
Hmm.
Juventini. Anth,
Well,
do you want to kind of kick us
yeah,
off on the
I'll kick us off on this
commitment,
one.
the project, and obviously these Chiesa rumors?
You never want so just how do you want to start this? So, whenever a business comes up with a project, a lot of people will know this. They want to see it through. Now, trying to change the mind of Allegri, he has his commitments, he has his project. It's going to take X number of months or years to do it, right? And Dell's great question. What's the project? We're not completely sure, but in his mind, he has a project. They want to see it through. The only thing sort of derailing that is that the people who created the project, none of them are there anymore. Agnelli's not there. Adiva Ben is not there. Nedved's not there. The old boy's not there. So what was the project? Great question. Calvo's saying that he's just reading out of the notebook. He's not gonna he's not gonna say, well, we're gonna evaluate things at the end of the year. He's saying the right things for the club right now to get through these next 6 league games, 8 games, or however many we have left, just to get to June with all these trials and everything. He's just going to say it's status quo. He's the chief footballing officer. That's essentially Allegri's boss. So he's going to stick by his guy for now. Remember, Nedved always used to have the kiss of death. Oh no, we're committed to this coach, and
Yeah.
then he's gone. He did it to Sadi and Pirlo. In terms of the players, I believe there was rumors of both Vlahovic and Di Maria as well being disgruntled. There was some things there. Or, yeah, Vlahovic had the ankle injury, but he had a role with Allegri behind the scenes, and then Di Maria also having issues. We sort of, am I glitching at all, or am I still good?
You are glitching a bit. It's okay though.
Okay, so we were saying this before the show. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Now that you have 3 players coming out with this, I don't know, man. It's going to be over here in North America, no player, no coach is ever bigger than your top 3 players. If you want to call those guys your top 3 players, no coach ever survives that. I would be surprised if the club chooses Max over the players. If everything is true, but there's a lot of smoke there, bro.
And that's of
You
course
know,
what it comes down to, is nobody's gonna know other than those involved and whatnot. But it's not. Is it that far fetched? I don't think so. I don't think so. And
no.
that's what's kind of the scary thing. And when it starts to involve core assets again, Juve right now, and I've been saying this for a while because it's evident, we have few core players that are assets. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start running the risk, if in fact these rumors are true, then all of a sudden, that's a dangerous, dangerous game that you are playing. Because if you're just going to commit to anybody, no matter what, for a 4-year term, you can't afford that at this moment in time if you are Juventus. So for me, you know, something's got to give. So Matteo Rubinato coming in here. My guess is Max is gone at the end of the season, but we should focus on what is happening on the field and support the guys. Absolutely, absolutely. That goes without
That's Al's
saying.
point.
But to hear these guys and to play into this thing, Calvo's not going to come out and say much about Max. And again, I gotta say for everybody that we don't have a sporting director or management team. These guys that are in there for me are not the be all end all. Like,
No.
they're brought in to kind of just steer the ship right now through the storm, essentially.
So I will say this. So just take this food for thought. Typically, what happens when a company is in transition like this, or there's issues like this, the board will exit. They'll bring in a new board. To what Al just said, perfectly said, they'll steer the ship. Once they're out of the rough waters, they'll clear the board again, and they'll bring in new management. These guys that are at the top right now, chances are they won't be there in 2 years.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They'll clear everything out, whether Agnelli comes back. You know what I mean? They'll or Alkin puts in other people. They shrunk the board to get through this. My guess is 2 years from now, they'll change everything again, and it'll be all new upper management. It's not. That is a very normal way of doing business.
What if maybe just maybe they saw all of this coming before? What if, they knew things were coming down based on what Paratici was doing? He had a black book, apparently, that had a lot of things in it. Like, what if they knew this was all going to come down? What if that's the reason they bailed and knew Max was available and thought that he was the right guy to get them through what was going to come? What if they knew all along that there was going to be issues they were going to have to clear out, and they needed a guy that could actually deal with the media, deal with everything, and be the guy that could just get them through a mess that they maybe anticipated coming? What if?
Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about. So when they hired Max, so when did Max start? It was
right after the Pirlo season. He's been here 2 years.
Okay, so summer of 2021 was when he was hired?
Yeah.
Are you saying at that point, or?
Yeah.
Because at that...
What if they knew?
At that... I think... No, I disagree with that. I think once it was the next May, the 2022, when the Consob went through the books, I think at that point is when they knew they were going to have to clear the board out. That's when it happened in November. You're saying bring Max in as someone to steer the ship because we're going to have to clear it? No.
You don't think that they knew something was going to come down eventually with this Paratici stuff, and you don't think that they had a feeling that, hey, we might be in some issues here? Because weren't Arriva, Bene, Cherubini, all those guys brought in the same window as Max?
They were, but I don't think they could have foresaw all of these things happening at once. I would agree with you if they got rid of Paratici.
They did.
Yeah, no. Okay, hang on. Let me rephrase that. I don't think they saw this in terms of all these investigations and then bringing in Max because they knew they'd have to get rid of the whole board. I think they knew that Paratici was a scumbag. So like, hey, we got to get rid of this guy or not renew him.
You don't think
but
it's
they went
feasible?
They went through all the investigations. They played.
You don't think that it was feasible that they knew the financial circumstances that they were in, that there was a potential for something to come down with what Paratici, the way he was operating, not necessarily that he's broken any rules, because there are some that don't even exist, essentially. And we know that for the most part, what they're trying to hit us with is going against the spirit. But you don't think that there's the slight inkling that they said, okay, we're going to, despite our financial troubles, like, we're going to tie into this guy for years. We're going to just lock it up, ride that out, and get all our finances straight. Who's a coach that can get us through with whatever we give him while we struggle financially, and there may be some repercussions to come ahead? Is it Pirlo or is it Allegri? Pirlo was already asking for other players. Max Allegri will ask for certain players and whatnot, but did we splash at all in the Mercado? No, we just replaced Delict with Bremer and whatnot, and the rest was some freeze and a lot of young integration. Now you have the team talking about even more. You got Max. Everybody's like, well, look, Max, not the young guys. This is not the Max of old when it comes to young guys. And I think even the Max supporters have to realize that. So has he been brought in like, hey, we're going to ride this thing out? Who's the guy that can handle the heat, handle the... I'm just saying.
It's not a now that I think about it, it's not a far-fetched theory.
It isn't really.
Only if they knew that there was wiretaps and investigations starting in 2021, which I think they did. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think there was a request for information at that time. Remember we Juventus said that's when the clock started. Was that 2021 or 2022?
Listen,
I get all the dates.
it's
But
not
you want to know
even necessarily a conspiracy theory. It's just a theory of
No.
how you could be locked into a guy like this and why, to try and make sense. Like, if in
Yeah, no,
fact they were going to commit beyond 4 years. Now, the financial part of it says, well, Max got an outlay of 70 million gross through Pirlo's 20. Sure. But it's all relative when you look at them dropping over 100 in salary to players. Dropping over 100 in salary in players. No foresight on anybody coming in on big expenses as far as players go. Looking at signing players to utilize growth decree and whatnot. Like, guys, we know we're going into a Mercado that's going to be extremely light.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, would Pirlo be the guy that you would lock in if you were ready for a shitstorm coming in, or would it be Allegri?
It's not a okay, it's not a conspiracy theory, but you want to know something? It's not a bad theory if the management knew that there was a potential of investigations coming. They were saying, okay, the board would be in danger. These would be the steps that we'd have to take. We don't want to lose a coach at any point. Who is someone who could ride the wave? Max would be that guy. It's an
Now,
interesting theory.
with every theory, obviously there are points you could point at and go against and whatnot. I'm just spitballing here, everybody. I'm just spitballing because it's the only way I could fathom what Calvo's saying to be true, which I actually don't believe it's true. Because as we were talking about earlier, when you have guys like Chiesa who are unwilling to we're unwilling to part with, and Juve should be unwilling to part with. If he comes out and says something like this, there's no way you can't abandon your project, and you have to seriously think about abandoning it at all costs, if you ask me. Because of the simple fact we cannot afford to lose like our few core player that are assets. You can't do that. So you have to scrap your project. You have to. And if Juve is at a point where they are willing to take that hit in player values as well, when they know that our hands are tied, if these guys turn in transfer requests, if Juve is willing to do that at all costs, for me, I go back to this theory that they knew what was going down and they were ready to ride it out until the end, until the finances are cleaned up, and then start there. I'm just saying, I hope that I am completely wrong, but just what if, everybody? I hope I'm wrong. It's a crazy one. I know. You guys say it. Go in the chat. Say, Berto, you're fucking nuts, man. I'm cool.
But if they knew that Max would ride out with it, relegation or whatever, bad news, or at a Champions League or this and that, it's not that crazy. And again, I didn't know Berto was going to say this, so I'm wrapping my head around it.
And like I said, every theory has points you can go against it. Animesh bringing up one here. Dushan was a pretty big expense, though. One we probably wouldn't have taken if we knew what was to come. However, it was a very favorable deal in us in terms of offsetting the cost as well. So, and
Mm-hmm.
again, the salaries that they cut and some questionable moves too. Like I said, hey, I'm just spitballing, everybody. I'm spitballing.
Just a theory. That's
You
what we do
guys,
here.
hey, by all means, call me crazy. I don't care. Go out there on social media and say Alberto was off his rocker today. I'm fine with it.
No.
Sule has made a statement on Twitter saying, guys, I didn't mean to. If you look at the comments on his Instagram, it was crazy. People are calling him shit. They're telling him to go fuck himself. Garbage bins, just middle fingers, like he's just being lambasted for the miss, obviously. And he's come out in a statement saying, and for me, it's just like, what are we doing here?
What are we
What are we
talking
doing
about here?
here? Just going like that's not gonna make things better and whatnot. And Maran, okay, overthinking it. All right, fair.
Sure.
Good chance. Good chance. I'm
Could you imagine
overthinking it.
having? Could you imagine when we were 19 having social media?
Oh man, I don't know. It's just I I I I hate the comfortability many get from social media that like I literally went through this past weekend. Somebody attacked Lex on one of our team posts and I
Mm-hmm.
get very defensive when team members are attacked, especially when it's this card about women and their comments on football. And that's what this was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, literally came in to defend her. And all of a sudden, this guy wants to get personal instantly. And it got to the point where he essentially said something about my wife and him not knowing whatever. I just said, look, okay, I would literally end your days, okay, if we ever met, and you would have the balls, which I know you don't have, to say that to my face. This is one of these scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
People are way too comfortable on social media. The positive is that at least I see a lot in our community that have responded to Sule's post and just saying, don't pay attention to the clowns. Like the real
We
ones
don't.
are behind you. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like that it's this is crazy to me. It's crazy to me, but it's the chaos that we're in currently because the ugly rears its head when you go through these struggles and honestly there's a lot of people that yeah, keyboard warriors, that's exactly what they are, but I just don't understand. I just don't understand how you could do that to players and whatever, because even if I come out here on a show and I criticize Quadrado, I criticize, I'm not actively taking time out of my life, out of my day to go on his social media to dog him or anything. And
Who's
what
got
do we
time for
always
that?
say on the show? What do
No
I always
time.
say on the show? I always say, I hope you prove me wrong. What did I say about Max earlier on? I said, Max, I don't think you could turn this thing around, but I hope you prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the attitude you need to have. Like, we talked about this yesterday on the match day live with Joe and Tal. It's like, what are we doing when you're and there's unfortunately there's content creators out there that are like this. They would rather be right and Juve fail
Mm-hmm.
than be wrong and Juve succeed because they're so concerned about being right. It's crazy.
It's true. Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself when you can admit your mistakes. I make them all the time, but I come on here, I sit in front of this microphone beside you, and I say, "Man, I got that one wrong." I think people can grow a lot when they just admit they're wrong. And you want to know something? There's a lot of people out there who've never stood toe to toe with somebody and getting wrist punched in the face. It doesn't happen anymore. COVID kind of locked everybody down, and everyone feels safe behind their keyboards. I don't put anything out there. Maybe I did when I was younger. I don't put anything out there, and I don't say nothing in this microphone that I wouldn't say to somebody's face,
Yeah.
right? Because you never
Yeah.
know. One day you might run into that person, and they will punch you in the face. But it's just a simple thing that I live by. I don't put anything out there that I wouldn't say to somebody if I was in front of them.
Yeah. And
That's it.
that's exactly it. It's just crazy. It's crazy. We are gonna get to storm the barn. Jeremiah put one in there about 4 times. I always
Muted.
got you, man. You always, you're dropping it in there 4 or 5 times. I see it. Anybody else that has questions, we may not have tackled something on the show here today, whatnot. Drop it in here. Okay, we do have some that came off Twitter that I will pull up as well, coming in from our friend Ramy. Let's get into this one first. Max is bad. The players are bad. So what is the solution? Sevilla gonna bust us open and break the dam. I'm telling you, the
I don't think
players
so.
can't be this bad. I refuse to believe that. Jeremiah, we're just battling who's worse at this point. Is it the execute? Like I said earlier on, and I think the highlight of the show, it's a battle of execution and approach. Which one has been at fault most? You guys are all gonna have your opinions on it, but the truth is, it's been a steady combination of both.
Am I the only one who thinks we can beat Sevilla?
We can do it, sure, but again, it's what do we struggle with more, the approach or there? And I tell you what, we're gonna need more than one goal in each game to beat Sevilla. I'll tell you that
Well,
right now.
didn't they score a bunch of own goals? Didn't they get a bunch of own goals against Man United?
Are we gonna
Or were
score
they
three
lighting
goals on Man United?
Oh,
Own goals or
sorry.
not?
Jeez.
We got to score more than one goal a friggin' game
We
to
gotta
go
score more
through
than one
Sevilla.
goal. We gotta
I'll
score
tell
more
you
than one
that.
goal.
I'll tell you that.
I'm not as concerned as other people are. I'm not going to go as far as to say what Animesh put up here that they stink. I'm not going to go that far because they do they do consistently well in this tournament. But to answer Jeremiah's question and to echo Berto's point, I can't remember a game where everything was clicking. Managers line up, players executing, players putting the ball in the back of the net. Defensively, we've been executing 100%. Keepers, defenders, defensive midfielders, everything's been fine. But all three phases, coaching, attacking, and defense, I haven't seen that. So that definitely has to be corrected for Sevilla because they're going to come out, especially in the second leg, because the second leg is away. Got to get everything, got to get it all sorted by the first leg. Yeah, we have
What
6 league games left.
Max is bad, players bad. What is the solution? Look, the mere fact that we're trying to find a solution
In
May
May.
1st is a big problem, all right? That's a problem in its own. Yeah, here's one thing I want to talk about going to yesterday's game.
Mm-hmm.
And why when at times I think we need to take a look at Max maybe not as harshly, but when we opened up and we really get after it, how much was coming back at us through Bologna? Because it was crazy when we truly opened up and truly pressed and truly got after it yesterday. They were moving up and slicing through us like nothing and coming right back at our defense. And one of the main things I noticed, and you could see it time and time again, yesterday Danilo was victim of it as well, but these guys were not cleaning things up and allowing us to keep the pressure on Bologna. Instead, Bologna was able to come all the way back down our pitch every single time. You can't, if you're going to play and you want to play that far forward, and this is just a reason why I'm just saying, if you can look at it from Max's point of view, these guys can't shore it up at the back to just clean it up quickly and get that ball back and us maintain pressure and stay on the front foot. It's always got to come all the way down because these guys can't win those battles. Sandro can't win the battles. Danilo wasn't winning battles yesterday. Gatti didn't look as good as he has for the last stretch. That's a big part of it, and I can see why Max would lose confidence in trying to play in that manner against better sides than Bologna. It was a problem yesterday. It was something I was seriously looking at, and if you're going to do that against good sides, you're going to get murdered. You are going to get murdered. So while everybody was on this thing in Champions League, you got to get after, you got to play. I agree. We could have been worse We could have been worse off. I just think quality is a problem still on roster, but the approach for the most part isn't helping. It's a tough thing. This solution question, everybody's got their own idea. I'm just saying if you
No
look
idea.
at these little moments and little key tidbits, it's a lot harder to figure out than many make it seem. It's a lot harder. I don't know.
There's
I don't have an
there
answer.
there was one here about the starting lineup for Wednesday. Don't know where it went. There it is. Soiree, right
Let
near
me
the
take a
bottom.
look here and try and track it down.
Right near the bottom. It's one of the newer ones.
Uber apps. Okay, yeah, here we go. Next one up. What should be our starting lineup against Lecce? Start case in a 4-3-3 with either Sule or Illing on the other side. Interesting enough,
Sandro
Illing
can't.
Jr. spoke about the fact that he plays on the national side, on the right side, and he
On the
likes
right
it and
side.
whatnot. Then you would have two inverted wingers, Sule or Chiesa and Illing, if you did that. Sule, I have no problem with him starting whatnot. I think honestly, Kostic, a guy like him, has played way too much and he needs a break.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm fine playing these young guys. And against Lecce and whatnot, absolutely, let's get some rotation in there.
100%.
Absolutely fine with it.
Because
Absolutely
then we
fine
got
with it.
Atalanta next week. Atalanta on the
So
weekend.
at
So
weekend, yeah, it'll be Atalanta. Get the rotation in. Get the rotation in. And I'd actually, like, if Vlahovic can go from the start, play him against Lecce and get him that start with the young guys because it's a lot more direct play. This guy needs to find a friggin' goal. Okay? Needs to find a goal,
but
needs to find an assist, needs to get involved. And I think the simple fact of how a guy like Illing doesn't stick to the sideline is
mm-hmm,
so big for all the rest of the guys up front. And when
mm-hmm.
Kostic is he if you look at his play before coming to us, he wasn't like that. He's like a robot right now. Pinned to that frig. It's like a machine. It's like he's on a track that is just boom boom, a straight line up and down, cross in. Okay, it's like it's a training dummy for Christ's sake.
Mm-hmm.
There's no freedom. It's weird to me. It's weird to me. But
I think
I would make
I
some
think it's a good
changes
point.
for
I think
Lecce for
Dusan
sure.
would I think Dusan would benefit from that. The cutbacks, he can do different moves in the box, cut the net, sit back on the penalty spot. Let Illing do his thing, come in. Yeah. Even Sule, he causes some problems too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I have no problems with
Play the
what I'm
young
seeing
guys.
from Sule, and I think that's just such an unfortunate miss yesterday. I mean, he's gotta find a way to put that in.
Mm-hmm.
Who, in your guys' opinion, has been our best and or most consistent player this season?
Most consistent's been Rabiot.
Most
Hang
consistent
on.
has been Rabiot.
Up until maybe the last two games, but consistently, Rabiot, Danilo's been consistent. I won't say our best, but consistent. Because guys kind of fade in it. Rabiot, Danilo, Locatelli. Has been the
I'd have
most.
to go with Rabiot.
Yeah.
And when we say Rabiot is our top goal scorer this season, that says a lot about everything overall.
Yeah.
Animesh throwing out
Bremer.
Bremer.
He had that stinker against Napoli though. Like
He
I
had a
don't.
couple stinkers, nothing to the likes of the Napoli one, but he had a
Yeah.
couple bad ones. I think Rabiot's been the most
Rabiot.
consistent.
And I know people think I got something against Padin, but I just Tech or Padin, whatever. I think goalie wise, we haven't had any issues. Maybe little blips here and there, but to bury one or the other, I think that's unfair.
Any word about Fagioli still looks too stressed when coming on? I think that chance that he missed, he knows has to go in goal. That's all
I
that
thought
came
he
down
looked
to.
good yesterday. He looked good, and
Yeah.
then
I tried to
he's playing well.
manifest it for him. I called a contribution from Fagioli, and unfortunately, it didn't pan out. But I thought he looked good. I I thought he was playing a
Yeah,
good game.
I think he should start. Should he start against Lecce?
I would start him. Yep. Yep. Get
Would you
back out
start
there.
Locatelli against Lecce, or put Pogba in there?
Pogba won't start. I don't think he's
So,
at the point of starting. I'd probably play Barnechea against Lecce.
oh right, I forgot about that guy.
I'd go
Could you
Barnechea,
play? Could
Fagioli.
you could you play Bonacea, Fagioli, and Meretti in there?
It's very. I don't know if Max would put that young a midfield straight across. To be
But
honest.
technically, you could play those three players,
Oh,
like based
technically you could. Yeah, you got your
on their
mid-salas as
positioning where they like to
Fagioli
play.
and Miretti, and Barnechea would be in the heart there. I would probably play Barnechea against Lecce. I see no point in like continuing on with a dead project in terms of Paredes. Like we know
Yeah, that's a good point.
we want to return him and he's gone. Like play Barnechea in there. Like just get him his
Was
minutes. Just keep it going. Like
was
there's no
Barnacea even on
point
the
for me.
bench?
The whole Paredes thing is useless to me. We know we're sending him back. Don't like.
I,
What's the point of giving him the minutes? I don't even get it really
I'm trying to
at this
see
point.
if
So that's just me. That's just me. But yeah, we've got obviously April was just a horror show. Okay, an absolute horror show.
yep.
We need to get things right. There's still a decent amount of ball left. Europa League.
May 11th.
Let's see what goes down. I'm gonna get Ramey's. I just gotta dig it up here. So our friend Ramey had some questions. He put it up on our post yesterday, and I just gotta track it down. I think he had
And we
like
do appreciate
3.
all the questions that come out. So Al puts out the daily news videos, and we do appreciate all the comments there. We try and go in and answer all your comments because it really is a good discussion between these shows. When you know, outside of Twitter, people can go on those comments and talk about any of the news topics that come up. We try and carry over those topics to these shows if we can or if we remember. Because me, I don't remember anything. My memory's starting to fade, but Al does a good job of trying to carry those things over. So keep going on those new daily videos. Oh, don't forget, while you're here, we got 56 viewers. We got up a little bit higher than that today. Please don't forget to like the video while you're here and comment below on anything that we missed or anything you want us to cover for the Wednesday show. So we'll be back Wednesday pregame, 8:40 a.m. Eastern. God, we need to win on Wednesday.
Now,
yep.
Number 1
Mm-hmm.
from Ramey here. If Juve lose the next 2 games or only get 2 draws, do you fire Max knowing we still have Sevilla soon? No. Ride it out. Ride it out. And hell yes, Vincenzo. April out. Yes, thank you. April. No, there's no point now. There's absolutely no point now. You ride it out.
0.
I see 0 point in bringing in anybody without a management team and sporting director. Let them make the next decision on a manager, okay? Mm-hmm. Number 2, what are our chances versus Sevilla? 50% or 30% or higher, lower? What are we?
75%.
Wow. Okay.
We don't give up a lot. We don't give up a lot of goals. Sevilla, you're saying we have to score. Sevilla has to score too. So, 75% chance we go through.
50-50 for me right now.
You're a piece of work.
50-50, man. This could go either way. It could be.
No. We're the favorite. I think. Are we? Are we the favorite? We are the favorite.
It's 50-50, man. 50-50 for me. And I thought maybe, okay, I was being harsh, but I don't know. Like 75 kind of, I'm surprised.
I'll write this down. 75%.
Where's the confidence coming from, though? Like just strictly because of keeping goals out? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And Sevilla's 14th in their league. At some point, you are who you are.
Looking back at the sporting the two legs with Sporting and whatnot, it got pretty greasy. And Sevilla's a tougher opponent for me than Sporting was. And if we want to try and get greasier, that's a problem.
Mhm.
That's why I think it's 50-50 like right now for me. I'm at about 50%. We should
Okay.
drop that on a poll though on Twitter just to see where everybody feels, where everybody stands. That's interesting. The third one. Why is Max not giving consistent playing time to certain youngsters? He gives someone a start, then shelves him. That's
Like, really, Ealing Jr. is the only one where everyone's been saying, where the hell? And then first it was Gatti, then he got his playing time, and then it was Ealing Jr. Ealing Jr. is really the one that confuses everybody, and we don't have an answer for it. Anytime he comes in, he plays okay to very well,
yeah,
right? So Sule can sort of kind of come in and out. I can see where people have issue with him, but Illing Jr. is always at least good when he comes in.
I don't understand how you could run a guy like Kostic ragged when you have Illing Jr. there. That's been
Right.
effective when you've played him. Like
Yep.
these are mysteries that only Max can give the answer to. It, it's really strange. Even Fagioli, when I talked about give him a break after the emotional breakdown, people are like, no, right back out on the horse. I'm like, give him a break. He's got way too much on himself. You should never, no player should ever break down like that over one mistake in a game to Sassuolo, not a Champions League final. Relax, right? But then 3 games no start? Very, very weird. Miretti went through a spell where he just couldn't get back in for any minutes, whatever.
Hmm.
It's been strange. I don't have an answer. So, Rami, I'm really sorry because it's going to be super lame to your question, but I have no idea. I can't wrap my head around why certain guys haven't been used. Paredes, Barnechea, that whole thing too, now starts to tell me he used Barnechea as a wake up call, so to speak, for Paredes, but we know he's going to be sent back to PSG. Keep going with Barnechea, was doing a great job.
Barnechea
Whenever you
wasn't even
need
on
to
the bench
rotate
yesterday.
Locatelli, use Barnechea.
He
You got a
wasn't
sub?
on,
It,
yeah, but Enzo wasn't even on the bench yesterday. So either he was injured or he was still playing
but I'm just
with
saying
the
in
yeah.
general, as a whole, like it's not really making a whole lot of sense. I can't speak to those decisions from Max. It doesn't make sense to me.
And if you're worried about Ailing Jr.'s defensive abilities, he was slot right back into that left back, sort of position, helping out defensively yesterday too. He was staying at the back post, wasn't giving up space back there, clearing things out, carrying it out, distributing it out. So yeah, he looked good. He looked good yesterday.
I I think riding this season out, definitely give these young guys their rotation, give them their minutes. You right now you have to go with the guys that have some kind of spark offensively.
Hmm.
Kostic for me, like I said, he's been a robot. He's been good this year. He's played a lot of minutes. I have no problems with Kostic, but the way Illing interprets that position while Chiesa's out there is huge. Because if Kostic and Chiesa can't function, which I don't believe they can, you've got a problem and you have to sort it out. And if that solution is Illing Jr. because the two of them have something going there, then
Hmm.
that's what you got to do. And Max, for me, always seems to lean towards the veteran guys
Safe route.
getting that vote of confidence and always being the go to. I mean, we're not far removed from Fagioli coming in, showing what a difference it made as opposed to having McKennie out there. And what did I say? Wait for McKennie to get fit. He will be back in there, starting over Fagioli. And sure as shit, he was.
Hmm.
Max is going to be Max. Max is going to be Max. I don't know how
Max is
much
gonna max.
change has been there with Max and how much of it is just my wild theory. My wild theory. Who knows? Who knows? Next up, Leche. Thankfully, we
Wednesday.
are in May. I will do
Okay.
everything I can to forget April from a footballing standpoint, because from a life standpoint, it's actually pretty good for me. Okay.
It's a good month.
Had
Yep.
a good month. Had a good solid month.
Great month.
Family month was good. It was great.
Hmm.
But from a Juve fan point of view, April
Terrible.
was absolutely disgusting. So we're gonna get into May. May's got Lecce, then Atalanta on the 7th. On the
In
11th,
Sevilla.
Sevilla for the first leg. 14th, Cremonese. 18th, Sevilla. 22nd, Empoli. And then we wrap things up on the 28th against AC Milan. Okay? So for Serie A, Lecce, Atalanta, Cremonese, Empoli, Milan. We finish up the season June 4th against Udinese.
Hmm.
So Udinese, Milan, Empoli, Cremonese, Atalanta, Lecce. Those 6 games. What do you figure we're going to need to stay in the top 4, Anth?
6 games. We're gonna need at least to
We're
stay in the
sitting
top
at
four.
60 points. Inter's at 57. AC Milan's at 57. Roma's at 57. Atalanta's at 55.
So of the 6 games. So of the 18 points, we're gonna need 9.
You think
We're
9
gonna need
sees us safely? 3
nine,
wins out of the 6 should see us. I think we'll
nine to
probably.
10, 9 to 10 points should
Yeah, I'm
see it
thinking
through.
we're going to need that 4th win, man. I think we're going to need 4 out of the 6.
We need 12 points.
I think we're going to be in that 10 to 12 point range.
I
We're going
have
to
no
need.
faith in the other teams doing that much better than us. So I'm thinking 10 points. We'll get to this on Wednesday. I need to look at it. There's a lot going through my head right now.
Okay,
We're doing it
Ant's
through
gonna do
April.
his crazy calculations and everything,
We'll
but
get to it.
everybody on the live chat, you guys are amazing. Thank you for the super chat support and whatnot. Don't forget about memberships. Go on to desktop. You can check out the 3 tiers. We got a lot of cool stuff coming out. Um, oh man, I wish April was so much better for us. It's another measuring
Hmm.
stick month, and we felt it just let it fell by the wayside here. Let's see what happens. Let's at least finish up strong and just wait and see, because like I said, the media likes to work around results of
Hmm.
Juve and what happens, and they feed off of the fans in how they approach things. So
Sure.
let's just wait, see what happens. Come summer, then we'll deal with it. And I'll remind everybody, if by some crazy chance, and let's just say my theory is somewhat maybe accurate, and Max is around next season, at least you guys will have a good opportunity to win one of 10 kits. Because that's how sure I was Max would not be around next season.
In
Hey,
your defense, you made that prediction the day before they took 15 points from us, or 2 days
yeah,
before.
yeah, that was
And then
crazy.
at that point, it was like, oh, yeah, there's no way Max is going to be here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But you guys might have a lot of kits. You're gonna
It's
have
going to be a
kits
great
and some
summer.
giveaways going anyways. It's been a while since we've had one. Maybe
Hmm.
we have to do one for the next time Juve scores 2 goals in a game. I don't know. We got to figure something out. It's been
Yep.
crazy. But everybody, you guys are amazing no matter what. We ain't going anywhere. It's fino alla fine till the damn end, everybody. Okay, and that's not
Hmm.
changing. We'll be back midweek, getting you ready for that match against Lecce. Unfortunately,
2 days.
no watch along midweek games. The weekend, Atalanta, there will be. All right, and I apologize for yesterday, but
Are you
I
sure? Because Atalanta is one of those espresso matches for you. It's the 3:30 a.m. match.
those are the ones I love, man. I love
Okay.
those. Are
Just,
my
just
favorite.
giving you,
Those are my
just giving you
favorite.
a heads up because it's
Fat
6:30 for me.
wife
So
and girls are sleeping. That's my go time. Okay, so the match day live will be changed because of that time. We're probably gonna get you hyped up for the game on the weekend, the night prior or the day prior. Okay,
the
so
morning
that'll
prior.
change up, but watch along Oh yeah, my espresso matches, love it. Love it. Bang that out, got the whole day ahead of me. Love it. Everybody, no matter what, don't let things out of your control ruin your weeks. Have a great week, okay? We will see you before Leche, and hopefully we get multiple goals there and can claim the victory, all right? No matter what, fino alla fine, forza Juve, ciao tutti. Take it easy with those news headlines out there, everybody, all right? Take it easy.
Wild.
Yeah.